Hey folks, Malforian here, and welcome to day 5 of Paradox's mystery tour for their upcoming game announcement. We are on to everyone's favourite game where nothing happens, Victoria 3, which was today's, and as you can see from the screenshot, it actually follows on from yesterday's post, which was the Renaissance unlocked new ways of thinking, and then today's is allowing many to rise above what was thought possible, and as you can see on the screen, it's like an alternate version of Victorian times. It's got some cool airships on here. It reminded me very much of like a Jules Verne type of history, like how they thought history might play out. So I wouldn't go as far as saying it's steampunk, but as you can see from some of the buildings in the background, there is kind of steampunk elements to what we can see. And there's obviously a lot of smaller airships in the background as well. It looks like in this version, airships are basically used to travel around cities rather than mainly being for longer travel, which they were obviously historically. Now, this does make it look like we are playing on Earth. As we saw in the earlier screenshots, they looked quite, down to Earth, as it were. But as we've gone further and further, it looks more and more like we had the Age of Wonders one, which looked like a legend, like King Arthur. And then yesterday's actually looked kind of normal, Renaissance-y, but today's, again, looks a bit more fantastical. So I'm not sure how the game is going to actually play with eras. We know from yesterday we are having eras in the game. So I don't know whether we're going to see kind of like a civilization where you can choose certain trees and some of them are just going to be, out of their ideas, like these kind of personal airships and things like that. Or are we going to have the entire game set not based on our Earth, at least up to a certain point? So, as we discussed yesterday again, it looks like maybe the Renaissance might be where the split in the timelines, you could almost think of it, occurs. And maybe that's where the game splits off and it's all played out in this kind of alternate history. Or can you play in like a normal historical world as well? Obviously, we'll probably find out more information on Friday when the game is fully announced. Now, as part of the tweet on the Victoria Twitter, it does say, "We have been hearing reports of strange dirigibles, always love a good dirigible, and unusual technology approaching through the ether, allowing many to rise above what was thought possible," as it says on the actual art itself. So, yeah, it does seem to back up that idea that we're going to be playing with unusual technology, alternate timelines, maybe. Who knows? Tomorrow, it is Hearts of Iron, so I imagine we're going to jump to the Second World War time frame. So I guess, again, this will either confirm that or not. I wonder whether it's going to carry on this kind of alternate steampunk look, or is it going to be a more like historical World War II? And I guess that will give us more of an idea if you can play multiple versions of history, or is it the same? It always works down this steampunk version. We'll see, I guess, because it looks like it's kind of based on Earth, but also not. And maybe you can make those decisions, or maybe it's always set to be this kind of alternate Earth. I wouldn't mind a game that's just not historical at all, or maybe up to a certain point it is. Yeah, I guess we'll find a little bit more tomorrow. And then we've got Stellaris, so again, I guess we'll get maybe like a steampunk space kind of look, or maybe they don't go to space. Maybe it's Stellaris, but it's like under the sea or something, rather than up actually into space. They actually go down into the sea, which would follow that Jules Verne, again, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I think it's called, do correct me if it's 10,000. I think it's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Maybe that's what they're going to go for. Maybe we're going to go down, and Stellaris is like a bit of a throw-off at the end. Instead of us thinking we're going to go to the stars, we're going to be going undersea, and that's going to be what happens instead. I guess we'll find out in 2 days for that one. But anyway, guys, that is it. Just another quick video. As I said yesterday, we're going to cover all these teasers, and then on Friday, I'll do a full video kind of going over what was announced, all the good stuff that's going to be there. And yeah, I'm really hyped for this still. Like, the more and more we've gone along, it's looked less and less like at the beginning, on day one, how naive we were that it could have been Paradox making a Civilization type game. And now it's like, is it like a steampunk RTS set on an alternate Earth? Maybe. We'll find out soon. As always, hit that like button if you've enjoyed today's video. If you're new here, I cover Crusader Kings. I've been covering Star Trek Infinite as well, which Paradox have started to ramp up the information for last week. And then obviously I'll be covering this game as well. It looks super interesting so far, so we'll be covering this up to launch, and hopefully it's another fantastic Paradox game. But yeah, on that note, we'll leave it there for today. I'll see you in the next one.